Hurricanes fans, please tell me that y'all have seen this. My man Alex Dino put this up on his video the other day, or I think it was earlier today actually, and I had not seen it yet. But this blew my mind. If you want to know how crazy this situation is between Miami and Notre Dame, all you got to do is look at this situation here. Looking at this post here made my head almost explode. What is it? Basically, it just says last season, so this is 2024 and 2025. Last season, there were 7 head-to-head results among top 25 teams who finished with the same record. And it's talking about, let's say if two teams finish 10-2, the team that ends up in front is typically the team that won the head-to-head competition. So this presented itself 7 times last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Georgia head-to-head win over Tennessee. Georgia was ranked in front of Tennessee. Alabama beat South Carolina. They finished with the same record of 9-3. Alabama finished in front of them. And you can go all the way down the line here, and the results are the same for all 7 results. If they finish with the same record, the team that won the head-to-head is the team that's ranked ahead of the other team. Now let's look at what happened this year, because maybe it was a big difference this year because there's a new committee, there's new rules and everything, right? So let's talk about that now. Well, so far we've got Georgia, they beat Ole Miss. Georgia's in front of Ole Miss. Texas Tech, they beat BYU. They're in front of BYU. Oklahoma, they beat Alabama. And even though Oklahoma doesn't look very good, they're ahead of Alabama because they have the same record. Oklahoma beat Michigan. They're in front of Michigan. Alabama beat Vanderbilt. They are in front of Vanderbilt, even though they had the same record. The only one out of all of these results, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there were 7 from 2024, and there's 6 from this year. The only one that's not like that, is Miami and Notre Dame. Miami beat Notre Dame. Somehow they're behind Notre Dame. It's 13 results. And if you want 14 results, just look at what happened with Texas and Vanderbilt. Just look at it. We can look at it together real quick. Why not? We here. Let's see what happened. Texas beat Vanderbilt on November 1st, 34-31. Today, Texas has 1 more loss than Vanderbilt has. Texas is 9-3. Vanderbilt is 10-2. So obviously, since Vanderbilt has less losses, they're going to be in front of Texas, right? Nope. They flipped them because Texas beat Vanderbilt. Even though Texas has 1 extra loss, they still put them in front of Vanderbilt because they won the head-to-head. So that would make it 14 games, and 13 of them all carried the same result. The only one that didn't is Miami and Notre Dame. I don't like to believe in I don't believe in coincidences, but I also don't like to believe in conspiracies. I don't like to feed into that kind of stuff because most of the time it's a bunch of nonsense. You got to follow the wormhole and it leads you into all kind of stuff that really doesn't make a lot of sense. But when you look at this, it's been so consistent for 2 years. There's 7 results here that you're looking at. Then there's 7 results on this screen that we're talking about. And out of those 14, because remember I talked about the Texas and the Vanderbilt game. Out of these 14, 13 of them go the same direction. The only one that goes the opposite is this Miami Notre Dame situation. I don't understand it. And the reasoning that they gave us, it's not because Notre Dame played a much tougher schedule because their strength of schedule is almost the same. It's not because of how they performed with their schedule because their strength of record is almost the same. It's not about how they controlled the game because that metric is almost exactly the same. And I know some of y'all are going to say, Well, no, Notre Dame is actually ahead of Miami in all these things. Keep in mind, there are 136 teams that's being tracked on these metrics. Not 5 teams, not 10 teams. If there were 10 teams and you're separated by 3 or 4, that's a pretty big difference. There's 136 teams that's being measured on this metric. Miami and Notre Dame are within 4 points of each other on every metric. Out of 136 teams, they are within 4 of each other. So that should tell you how close they are when it comes to all these metrics. It's almost the exact same. So, what other thing could they be leaning on? The only thing that they said, even though Miami beat them in the head to head and Miami outperformed them in the 4 games that they played common opponents in, what could actually be the difference? And they claim the difference is they feel like Notre Dame is a better team than Miami today. My response to that is, if that's the case, then let them just play a head-to-head matchup, and whoever wins that game, they get into the playoff. Oops, my bad. That already happened. They already played. Miami won. So what are we talking about? This is crazy work to me. It's craziness. It doesn't make any sense. Also, they're saying, well, I think Notre Dame just looks like a better team. Okay. You all also thought Notre Dame looked like the better team at the beginning of the season when they played. That's why Notre Dame was favored against Miami. But what happened? When they got on the field, it was clear as day that the trenches all leaned towards Miami, defense and offense. Notre Dame's offensive line could not block Miami's defensive line. Notre Dame's defensive front couldn't do anything with Miami's front five. Nothing. So what are we talking about? We're throwing away all the data. We're throwing away the actual game that was played. The only thing that they're leaning on is what they think based on how the games look. It's crazy, man. Like, I'm telling you, if you ever want to know if you're crazy or not, if you ever get into a wormhole and you do a bunch of research and you're like, am I crazy for thinking this? Is this leading me down the wrong path? Like, am I misunderstanding what this is explaining? The best way to understand if you're nuts or not is go and take that exact same data that you have and explain it to somebody who has no idea what you're talking about, who has no background and no involvement in what you're explaining to them. Take, for instance, my wife. She knows nothing about football. If I told her, I'll give you 1,000, she's got her own $1,000. She owns her business too. But if I said, I'll give you $1,000 to pick one of these to pick where the wide receiver is on this field, she could not do it. She'd probably point at the quarterback. She has no idea. If I said, pick where the linebacker is, she would probably pick the quarterback. She knows nothing about football. So I explained this situation to her about Notre Dame and Miami and how somehow Notre Dame has been placed in front of Miami. She was like, that makes no sense. Like, she could not believe it. She's like, so you're telling me they actually played on the field? I was like, yeah, they played. She's like, and Miami won. I'm like, yeah. She's like, so why are they not in front? I said, I don't know. Then she said, okay. And I explained to her like how all the metrics are the same. I said, they in college football, you pick your own schedule. So sometimes you play a bunch of cupcakes. Sometimes you play some real tough teams. You might play a schedule like Texas and get 3 losses. You might play a schedule like Notre Dame and only get 1. So I said, they have these metrics that they look at, and it decides like, yeah, sure, you do have only 1 loss, but you haven't played anybody. So we're going to favor this team over here with 3 losses. I said, sometimes that happens. So she was like, oh, okay, so Notre Dame's schedule was probably way tougher than Miami's. I was like, nope. She was like, well, what about the other metrics? Are they about the same? I said, they're all the same. She said, okay, so their metrics are the same, Their schedule is their um, record is the same, and Miami actually won on the field, and somehow they're behind Notre Dame. And I said, exactly. So explain to me how that could be. She's like, I have no idea. She even went as far as to say, because she watched the last interview where the committee chair was on there talking, and she was like, this almost feels like Donald Trump move, like where he's lying. We know he's lying. He knows that we know he's lying, but he's just like, I don't care. I'm gonna continue saying what I'm saying. I don't care. The sky is purple, whatever. I don't. And we're saying, no, brother, I'm looking at it. It's blue. And he's like, nope, it's purple, whatever. She's like, this dude in this committee is making moves like that liar Donald Trump. And I'm like, yeah, kind of feels the exact same way, doesn't it? Like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's crazy to me. So, yeah, man, I don't know. People are wondering if they're going to flip Miami and Notre Dame at the end here. I don't know. Maybe they will, but it does not seem likely. It seems like they kind of have their mind made up on this. When I heard that man say, we all feel like Notre Dame was just a better team, there's nothing that the Hurricanes or Notre Dame can do to change that this week without playing. There's no way that they can change that. So that's why I was like, oh, I think we might be cooked here, but we shall see. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this situation. Is this as crazy to y'all as it is to me? I'm sure a lot of y'all have probably already seen this, but I just thought it was crazy, man. Like, and then the committee, they know that they have in their bylaws listed on their website that head-to-head should matter. It's listed on their website. And they're sitting there telling us like, yeah, it's going to matter. It matters. And we're all like, obviously it doesn't because the Hurricanes are still behind them. So what are you talking about? And he's just sitting there with a smile, nodding his head, talking about 6-7. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? This is crazy. This is crazy. If the Hurricanes weren't out of the playoffs, I would actually say this has been crazy and a lot of fun. But I don't know if we can actually say the fun part because this is just pissing us all off more and more. So anyway, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Go continue building this thing one like and one subscription at a time. As always, I always say, man, I appreciate y'all's support on everything. Every like we get, every subscription we get, it helps me take care of my family even better. So I appreciate that. All right, that's all that I got for y'all today, man. Take care. God bless. Peace.